Hi guys, this is Rakhi Jha. Welcome back to my channel. So today I thought that maybe I could show you how I mix my resin. I am located in India and we get a brand called Epoke Art Epoxy Resin. But wherever you guys are located, you can definitely get any kind of art resin, which is safer to use. It is house friendly and does not harm. You can always also, to have extra protection, you can always wear a mask and goggles if in case you have an allergy or a breathing problem, but in general this is quite a safe resin. So it comes in two parts, part A and part B, and this is the resin part and this is the hardener part. It needs to be mixed together for it to become the proper consistency to pour over a painting, or I use it for tabletops, as well as for making any kind of resin decor like coasters, etc. So what I do now, a lot of the resins come with instructions, and they tell you either to mix both of these together by either volume or by weight. So now this one that I have is not to be mixed by volume, which actually makes it a little bit easier because then you just put one part of the hardener per one part of resin. But this Epoke resin tells you to mix by weight. So I have a scale over here and it is in the ratio of 1:3. So which means 1 part hardener and 3 parts resin mix. So here's my scale. What I do is I take any kind of plastic cup, and for this time I'm going to be making coasters, so I am going to mix about 300 grams of resin in total, mixed together with the hardener and the resin. So I switch the scale on, wait for it to come to 0, and it is already set for grams. It also has an ounce setting, but it's already set for grams. I put my cup and I see that it weighs about 8 grams. And then what I do is I set it back to 0. And then first I start using the hardener. So I have a little bit left in this, so I want to use that up, and then I'll use the new bottle. So I want to pour about 75 grams of the hardener first. So that's about 33. And I'm going to mix, I'm going to pour more and make it about 75. So now I have to go a little slow because it's already at 62. $73. A gram here or there doesn't matter. There you go. Well, became 77, but that's okay. A little bit here and there definitely doesn't hurt it. And then now I'm going to set this back to 0, and then 3 times this. So I'm going to pour about 225 grams of the resin part. And I just want to go a little bit over. There we go. A few grams here and there doesn't matter, so don't be too nervous about it. So that total, 75 and 225, makes it 300 grams. And that's your mix. Now, what the instructions say here is I have to mix this for about 10 minutes. Now, you guys could be lucky and buy art resin in the US, and that only calls for mixing it 3 minutes. So, which is much easier, but I have to mix this for 10 minutes. All right, so let me mix this, and then I'm going to show you how to make coasters. Okay. So I've mixed the resin for 10 minutes, the clear resin, and now I'm going to distribute it in my cup. So I'm going to be using 3 different kind of blues again, some white to give it a little bit of an effect, and this sort of pigment which is a purple in shade. It's like a deep maroon purple, and it has a little bit of a glitter to it. So, well, more than glitter, a shine to it. So I'm going to be using that in the middle, and let's see how this comes out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 cups over here, and then I'm going to be using a little bit of the clear resin as well. Okay, I'm going to wear my gloves. I just was totally goofing up here. You should always wear your gloves. So I'm just going to wear my gloves and come back with you. Okay, here I'm back. Let's distribute this resin. So I'll probably make like 6 parts, and this is about 300 grams. So I just eyeball. I'm going to use very little of the purple magenta color, so I'm just putting a little bit in that cup. That's going to be used for that. Okay, let's pour some more. And you know, I mean, you can always keep some more clear if you're undecided, and you can always mix a little bit more afterwards. But you know, you get about 45 minutes to do your artwork before the resin really starts hardening. So that's enough time, but not too much time, I would say, but enough. All right, a little bit maybe in this, and then I've kept about that much in this cup. All right, let's try to mix our colors quickly. I might fast forward this, even though I go very slow here. So I use not that much color because, again, you want it to be more of a transparent, glassy kind of a look rather than opaque. So I use a little bit of color. I think that should be enough. Just mix it in right well. And it mixes in quite well because these pigments are for resin. The more you mix, the more color you add, I think the more opaque it becomes. And the less you add, the more transparent it remains. So that's that. I have some earlier sticks over here, so I'm going to use that. This is the sort of a very rich blue, which I love. I want these to dry. And some people are you know, may have a little bit of an allergy towards this resin, any kind of resin, epoxy resin. So it's always a good idea to wear gloves. Although I've touched it on many occasions and nothing has happened, but you know, it's good to be safe. This is that very dark blue, but it does say on the bottle that it's a translucent blue, so it keeps a little bit of transparency. Just gonna add this much. It's a lovely color. Okay, now what's remaining? I have some white. Let's mix that. Again, I want the white to be very, very transparent. So I'm just adding a little bit. That's quite transparent actually, but let's give it a shot and let's try it. I think I added a little bit more last time, and I remember that the white was the one that was sinking in the most from the other colors. That's good. Kind of like a cloudy look. Okay, now this is that purple. So I don't know, I want it to be a little bit dark in the middle, so let's add a little bit more than we've added for the other colors. Because remember, I poured less resin in this cup, so I'm adding more color. It's like a rich wine color, I would say. Yep. Of course, when you mix, and I'm mixing it pretty fast, more bubbles come in this, but then you'll have to use the blowtorch to pop them. You can mix a little slower if you want. Okay, I think we're ready to go. So let's start the pour.